If a man leaves you, I want you to know better is going to come. It may not feel like it right now. The hurt, the disappointment, the shock of it all those things may make you feel like you won't get past this, but you will. You will overcome it. You will reach a better place and you will receive better in your life. And when you embrace that and understand that, it will help you to avoid making the various mistakes so many women have made when they have been faced with a situation of a man leaving them. So I'm going to break some things down for you. Like number one, if a man leaves you, do not go after the other woman. Now, of course, every situation does not involve another woman. And I don't think it's right or healthy to jump to that conclusion. But some situations, it's clear as day, this is what's going on. He left you for someone else. And there can be an inclination for some to want to go after the other woman. Now, listen, quick story. There was one time a client reached out to me and she was in a relationship with this man, all right? And there was the relationship was rocky. Let's just call it what it is. And the reality is that in most of these situations, it wasn't like everything was amazing and then this horrible thing happened. It was always red flags here and there. But she thought she could make it work, move forward, so they continue to have the relationship. And then she started to get word that this man was possibly cheating on her. She was hearing rumors from other people. He was acting funny, all right? He was very private with his phone. A lot of things made her question it. So one day, she ends up playing private detective like a lot of women do, okay, or are capable of doing. And she kind of tracked him right to being at some other woman's house. Well, of course, she went ballistic. She lost her cool. She ended up knocking on the door. All right, she was bold with it. Knocking on the door. Woman answers, and she starts attacking the other woman. And in addition to attacking the woman, she tries to like destroy his car or cause damage to his car. They end up calling the police. Police come through. She gets charged. And when she was talking to me, she was awaiting trial for this situation. And so it's such a huge mistake to go after the other woman because now you set up the possibility of you having to deal with worse because of this situation. So now here's a woman facing potential jail time because she went after the woman. But here's the thing, because some of you might say, yeah, damn right, don't go after the woman, go after the man instead. and to some extent, yeah, but no, let's take a step back. Because any poor reaction can lead you to more trouble than you should be putting yourself into and that you deserve to have to go through. But so it's important first, let me get back to this other woman scenario. Whether you want to hear this or not, that other woman owes you nothing. All right. Now, I know there are some situations where you feel like, well, she may have been someone who knew of the relationship. Sometimes it's even someone who's a friend or a family member. And I do understand there are levels of respect that you expect from certain people who may be close to you, right? And so those are a little bit different. But in general, you have to understand that the woman did not make the commitment to you. The woman was not in a relationship with you. The woman owes you nothing. Yes, it would be best and it would be great if everyone respected each other's relationships and didn't cross lines. But the only person who has to be held to that standard is the man who agreed to be in a committed relationship with you. And so going after the woman in any attacking way is just a pointless effort that leads to nothing good. Not to mention that you have to understand in regards to where you feel like, well, this woman was aware of this relationship, so she deserves my wrath because she crossed that line. But I think you have to realize that there are a lot of situations where the man has created a narrative in that woman's head that makes you the villain. All right? And therefore allows her to believe that she is validated or that it's okay for her to be doing what she's doing. I'm not saying that's a accurate way of her looking at things. I'm not saying she is validated, but what I'm saying is when he paints that picture of you being the horrible person that he's being tortured by in this relationship, she now has sympathy for him and she now becomes much more willing. Versus if he's saying to her, oh my gosh, my girl is amazing, she's a great woman, she's a good woman, I would argue that a lot of women, maybe not all, but most of them would feel more guilty about crossing that line. All right. So she is not thinking she's doing you wrong. She's not even trying to do this to hurt you. She is again looking out for her own desires and may have rationalized where she's helping this man out because this man in her mind deserves better than what he has subjected himself with to you or dealing with you based on what he's telling her. So ultimately the point is you don't know what story she's being given. She doesn't owe you anything because she's not the one that made the commitment. Going after her is only going to create more problems, and it doesn't resolve the real issue, which is him and your relationship with him. So if a man leaves you, please, please, please leave the other woman out of it. If you want to have a conversation with her and you feel like you can keep that conversation at a mature place, I'm okay with that. But please understand, if you call another woman up about your man, it is possible she's going to get snappy with you. And if you know, all right, I'm sorry for laughing, but if you know that you're going to pop off, that you are going to react to any attitude on her end that can then escalate to worse things, then it's best you do not confront her at all. If you cannot keep your composure, if you know you're just waiting for her to say something wrong, say something funny, please, please, please stay away from that. Stay away from it. It's not worth it. Again, it doesn't give you the closure you're looking for. It doesn't give you all the answers you need. It doesn't resolve the hurt. None of it. Leave her out of it. Focus on the real issue. Now, the second thing I do not want you to do if a man leaves you is to seek revenge. So piggybacking off the first point, again, it's not just about other women because sometimes other women are not involved. But it's about now trying to hurt him like he hurt you. Now, I get it. That is a natural reaction. That is a natural desire for many people to have, all right? But it leads to a lot of dysfunction. And again, it escalates the situation in a way that only makes it worse for you. And it doesn't make you truly feel better in the end, all right? So now, seeking revenge can come in various forms. It can come in attacking him. It can come in attacking his property, all right? It can also come in the form of sleeping with one of his friends or sleeping with a guy that you know is going to piss him off if he finds out you slept with this guy. Now, let's first start with the property and attacking him. Listen, those things can land you in jail. That man is not worth you losing your life over. That man is not worth you having to face the legal system because that moment got the best of you. You've got to keep things into proper perspective. I know it hurts, all right? But reacting in this way is not going to make it better. You've got to catch yourself from taking any measures in that regard. But now let's talk about the sleeping with somebody. That's not good for you neither. Because here's the thing. One, depending on who you choose to sleep with, because I got stories for days of women who sought out revenge, again, sleeping with brothers, fathers, best friends, all kinds of wild stuff, okay? And again, all it did was create more controversy, more problems. Now, one thing I feel the need to mention, and maybe some of you wouldn't care about this, right? But I don't know why it's hitting my spirit, so I'm gonna talk about it. I've seen situations where the woman let it get the best of them and let's just say slept with his best friend, all right? But in this environment, let's just say it's a smaller community where word gets around. And so now what gets tarnished is her image. The people aren't focused on, oh, he cheated on her or he left her or whatever. It's, oh, she slept with his best friend. Oh, she's this, she's that, whatever. And so now she is now haunted by this step that she took, trying to get back at him, only causing her to suffer more in the long run, only making it harder for her to be able to establish a healthy relationship going forward. Only now her having to shake this perception of her that really wasn't who she was. It was who she allowed herself to be in that moment because she let the pain and the hurt blind her. So it's important that you understand, again, none of those things are going to be good for you in the long run. You may feel like you got that person back, but you didn't. And the unfortunate reality, or call it what you want, if he ain't the one for you, if he never truly loved you or any of that, then sleeping with whoever ain't gonna hurt him like you think it will. All right? So again, it's almost like it's a futile thing that you're doing that, again, only makes it worse for you, does nothing to harm him going forward in his life. So don't set yourself up for worse things by trying to seek out revenge. And again, revenge does not cure what you're truly going through, the hurt, the pain, the disappointment. And that's where I would rather you place your energy on. All right, so now we are at number 3. So the third thing I do not want you to do if a man leaves you is to go blasting your business on the internet or to unnecessary people. I cannot tell you how many times I have seen women let the moment get the best of them, broadcast this news of breakup or he ain't this or all the nonsense that he did on the internet, all right, only to maybe days, weeks later, be right back with the man. Now, listen, I'm not saying even if you were going to stay away from him that you should go blasting on the internet. You don't need to be bringing people into your life in that manner. You don't need to be bringing that kind of negative energy and attention to you. And you've got to understand that all you're doing is feeding the vultures. The vultures are always there, waiting for your downfall, waiting for the bad news, waiting for the crack in your relationship because they wanted your man or some of the dudes wanted you, like whichever. Either way, you are feeding that beast, and that beast will come back to bite you. But let's focus for a second on you actually ending up going back to the man. Now, we're not going to talk about whether you should have gone back because it's various reasons why people break up or why he leaves, and sometimes it is reconcilable. Sometimes it may have been a misunderstanding, and now it can get corrected. But now, again, you create a perception of you that looks bad that you now have to deal with. That also can now cause you to struggle moving forward in the relationship, even though you two should be back together. So meaning, remember, I said internet or unnecessary people. You start telling friends and family, and let me say this, people have a very bad tendency of only telling friends and family, and not everyone, but a lot of people do it, the bad news, and not always promoting the good news. And so now these friends and family, because you keep blasting this information to them unnecessarily, because unless they are truly people who can give you wise counsel, why do they need to know your business? All right? And some of them, can't even keep their mouth shut. So why are you telling people who are only going to spread it to more people? But I digress, because the point here is now you have individuals who, again, they can become the vultures. They may not have been the vultures at first, but they become the vultures in a way that now, anytime they see something that triggers them in your relationship, oh, you sure he ain't doing this? Or you sure you should have left him where he was at the first time? Or, I told you don't get back with it. Like, now they're putting all this negativity in your head. And listen, sometimes it's justified. Sometimes you really shouldn't have been with that man and you should have stayed away from him. But I've seen relationships that Two people who could successfully be together be torn apart because of outside influence. And many times we have let, I gotta say it like this, we have let those demons into our house. We have allowed that into our environment, and now we don't allow us to focus on how us as individuals and our partner can either resolve this ourselves or come to an understanding that we're just not for each other. Instead, it gets tainted, and all that extra white noise just throws everything off and makes it difficult. So you don't want to have to deal with that dynamic. If there's a potential that you're going to get back with the guy, again, you're opening the door to other people, putting more negativity into your life, getting under your skin, all these different things. Like, again, you have to not let the moment get the best of you. And I know it can be tough at times. And in this world today, there's just an urge for people to get things off their chest, and social media becomes such an easy outlet to do that. But it's dangerous. It's dangerous in so many different ways. Hell, not to mention, sometimes people end up tweeting stuff about themselves and their relationships that can hurt them, maybe for potential employment somewhere. Who knows? Like, you got to stay away from that. Let the internet be for entertainment and fun and posting positive things or funny things, not posting all your business and letting people wreak havoc where they shouldn't have even had that information to begin with. All right, moving things along. Number 4 is, if a man leaves you, do not dwell in misery. Now, I know that one is so much easier said than done. Hell, some of these other ones might be easier said than done for some of you. But I still have to say it to you. I still have to encourage you in this way because, again, dwelling in misery will just bring more misery. It'll just bring more negative energy. It will send you down that rabbit hole where things just start to pile on and it gets worse and worse and it gets harder to dig yourself up out of that hole. It's important that, here's what I do. Here's a rule that I have, all right? And it's just a conscious thing I try to remember. If something deeply hurts me, I give myself a 3-day rule, all right? First day is like, okay, if I'm gonna be sad, moping, whatever, I allow it day 1. Day 2 is where I start to really process things and try to gather myself. But again, I'm not forcing myself to really get back out there. Day 3 is when we start to retransition back into where by day 4, it's time to go. All right, so essentially I got 3 days to just work through this. Now, I understand. I'm not saying you have to be fully healed in 3 days. What I am saying is that you have to try not to let yourself stay in that negative place, in that misery, to dwell in it for past those however many days, whatever works for you. I'm saying 3 days for me. I think that would be a good rule for most, if not everybody. But you got to give yourself a time limit. Because if there's this never-ending thing, I've seen people dwell in misery weeks, months later, still in the same place and not really taking action. So by having an understanding that I cannot let this drag on, then that subconsciously and consciously pushes me in the direction of, okay, I have to do something about this. Now, again, the full healing will, in most cases, take longer than that because there might be a lot more you have to unpack. The healing process may include not just what just happened, but what you've been hurt from in the past that you never addressed. And so you do have to understand that will go on longer. But we just have to at least not dwell in the misery and the moping and not being productive and staying in bed. That we cannot allow. So do not dwell in misery. Now, again, I know easier said than done. So real quick, get your copy of the book, Love After Heartbreak. This will lay out for you the steps to healing. The entire process is like having coaching one-on-one in a book. All right. It's what I've been giving my clients for years. It will help you if you follow all the steps. So click the link in the description or the comment section, get your copy, or go to loveafterheartbreak.com. All right. So now we're at the 5th thing I don't want you to do if a man leaves you, and that is to attack him emotionally. So here's what I mean. We kind of talked about attacking physically earlier. and seeking out revenge and trying to destroy property and hell, go after the woman, all this other stuff, right? But when I say attacking him emotionally, what I mean is that there's more than likely going to be a time where you guys speak again or some form of communication, right? Whether it's him reaching out, you reaching out, tracking him down, whatever the case may be. And whether your goal is deep inside, whether you desire to get this man back or you're done with him and you just want to let him have it, you've got to understand that the lashing out isn't going to serve you any true good, all right? Because let's just start with you're done with him. If you feel like, no, I'm done with him, hell, maybe this was a blessing in disguise and you realize he needs to be gone. Lashing out doesn't actually flush out all the negative energy the way that it needs to be. In most cases, when you lash out, especially verbally, through phone, whatever, you don't get everything out. You're kind of blinded by your emotions at the moment and you're not processing them and expressing them correctly. And so for a second, you might feel good, but it doesn't really help you once you move past that moment. And that's why in the book with the healing process, there's a way to break that down in a way that you're able to get all the raw emotion out, but then express yourself in the most effective way that allows you to truly resolve it and be done and have peace. Because the goal is for you to be able to have peace and move forward in a positive manner after this is done. But now let's talk about, let's just say you want the man back. And don't feel shame, because again, let's not assume that every time a man leaves a woman is because he's just some dirty, horrible man, who cheated or who did this. Listen, some men leave because the woman was toxic. And yes, I love you, but you might be that toxic woman. I'm just going to keep it real. There may be some things that you were doing to push this man away. There may be some things that you poured into the relationship that created dysfunction. Now, I do not want you to beat yourself up about that. But I do want you to be able to embrace accountability and understanding that, yes, maybe you weren't a perfect angel in this relationship. And maybe there were some things that you needed to do better or needed to correct. I've had tons of women come to me who will say maybe months, years after the relationship, how they realized they pushed the man away, how they realized they did so much wrong, all right? And now they live with this regret. But again, I don't want you to live with regret, but I do want you to learn from it. But getting back to you communicating with him and you have a desire to get this man back, because maybe you do recognize that you were a part of the problem or the problem, okay? If you attack him emotionally, all you're showing him is nothing has changed. All you're showing him, it's kind of like if you left a man and when he comes back to you, he's, you this and you this and blah, 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 and you hurt me, and he's just attacking you emotionally. You're going to be like, look, it's going to frustrate you. It's going to drain you. It's going to be like, why would you take this person back? Why would you even entertain reconciling with them when all they're doing is deflecting and putting it all on you? So you have to make sure that you approach this. And again, whether you want to be with him or not, it is in your best interest to make sure that you come at this. If you're going to have a verbal conversation, and even if you write by letter, you want to go about this in a way that you're expressing yourself in a more calm, poised manner, okay? And you also allow yourself to listen to what he has to say. What is his reasoning? Well, if he's willing to give it. Some men may be cowards and they don't want to even talk about it, or they don't want to give you any level of clarity. And I don't want to say coward in a disrespectful way, but it is what it is. The point though is your chance of gaining clarity, your chance of finding peace, your chance of finding closure, even though closure is more a thing for you to do within yourself rather than something that they can give you. But let's just be real. It helps when we can gain some understanding from that person. All that can be better achieved when you don't attack emotionally and you more so take a very calm, mature approach, and you are open to the realization that you may have some things you need to be aware of that need to be corrected on your end. All right, now number 6. The 6th thing I don't want you to do if a man leaves you is do not go looking for distractions, all right? So, some people will say the best way to get over someone is to get under someone. That's horrible advice, all right? That's like, no, don't do it. There's so many reasons. I have a video on rebound relationships that really breaks it down, but quickly, it's like, you're not gonna really solve any problems doing that, all right? You're trying to manage and cope, but you're not truly healing. And you also risk bringing a third party into the mix that is an innocent bystander that can now end up getting hurt and caught up by this situation. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, yeah, but if it's casual and they know it's casual and I'm being casual, I get it, but let's be real. A lot of casual situations have turned, what were supposed to be casual situations have turned very messy for various reasons, all right? So again, it just has a higher likelihood of either allowing the damage to linger or creating new drama and nonsense. So, but it's not just about seeking distractions by dealing with someone else. It's also about filling your plate up and making yourself overly busy just so you won't have to deal with it. Again, you're not helping yourself because you're not resolving anything. You're kicking the can down the road, or what you're doing is what I like to say, pushing everything into your emotional closet, locking the closet and acting like you're okay. And you're not. And what's going to happen is the next time something triggers you, the next time you attempt to have relations, something may happen or will happen at some point that pretty much causes the emotional closet door to bust wide open. And now everything that's in it also comes out. And now you're a huge mess. And people are trying to continue the cycle of, well, let me just push everything right back into the closet and keep on moving. No, now that becomes very unhealthy. That manifests into a lot of emotional stress. Emotional stress manifests into a lot of physical ailments and disease. Again, it's just a huge bag of problems when you don't face the issue. I don't want you to look for distractions, but I do want you to seek out where you should be placing your energy, because that's different. Distractions are things that we don't need to be doing in our lives, but they're here to take up our time and attention so that we don't have to think about this other thing. But focusing your energy on the things that matter is productive. It's good. It's going to grow you. It's going to make you stronger. And of course, those things will include stuff like healing from your past. It may include, if as we mentioned earlier, let's just say you were the woman who carried a bunch of insecurities in your relationship because of past issues. Addressing those things, how you can be better, taking better care of yourself. Maybe you weren't doing that before you got in this relationship. Very good chance that you were even in the wrong relationship because you weren't doing the right things before him. So now here is the opportunity to focus on doing those right things so that you can set yourself up for better. And please, what's also hitting me right now, I remember one time I had a client and she was on her third marriage, all right? And she was going to go through a divorce. And she was like, I'm done with relationships. I'm not doing this no more. It's over. And I was like, listen, you're a relationship person. You're not done. And how about we don't project that onto our lives? Let's just focus on the healing. Let's focus on getting through this process, getting through this divorce, and let kind of nature take its course. Let God work. Don't put your hands on or don't try to force it to go any certain kind of way. Long story short, she was back in a relationship, I think, within a year later. But in a healthy way, not in a distraction way, in a healthy way. But it just shows you that rather than projecting what you think will happen because of how you're feeling in the moment, just focus on the right things and let the blessings come as they will. That's it. That's what needs to happen. Rather than you looking to find nonsense to fill your plate up with. And now last but not least, what I want you to do if a man leaves you is talk to God. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you knew God was going to come up at some point. You know how I roll. But listen, I initially was going to put pray before you react, right? Because I think that Praying before you react will help you avoid a lot of these things on this list. But for whatever reason, I felt led to write it out or say it as talk to God. Because I don't want you to just focus on the not reacting part. I don't want you to just simply focus on, okay, make sure I calm myself down so I don't do anything wrong. Of course, we want that to be a part of the process. But I want you to have a deeper conversation with God. Because I want you to start to really understand or gain understanding of why we're here, what led to this, what needs to happen next. All right? Who was this man to you in the first place? Did he ever even belong there? Because for some of you, this is a blessing in disguise when it happens. All right? When it did happen, when it may happen later, depending on the path you guys take. And it can be hard to see that in the midst of feeling hurt and disappointed. But talking to God can help bring that clarity and help bring that understanding. As well as, again, not just understanding that, you know what, he wasn't for you. And the reality is that sometimes that man left you because, or let's just say, thank God he left you because you weren't going to leave him. Despite the fact that he wasn't for you, despite the fact that you were not happy, despite the fact that there's been plenty of red flags that said, yo, not just walk away, run for your damn life, you weren't going to leave. For various reasons, fear, loneliness, attachment, whatever. And it's fortunate, it's a blessing, it's a great thing that he took those steps and went about his business. And now, rather than focus on, well, why did he leave me? Or I'm not good, or am I not good enough? And all these things that we tend to dwell on when this happens. No, let's view this as an opportunity. How can I get better from here? How can I set myself up for success? If this is happening, there's a reason why, and there's a good reason. When I say good reason, meaning there is something I can gain from this. We tend to not realize that and understand that, but there's something we can gain from this. And let me add this perspective. Even if that gaining is going to actually be you two coming back together. I know some of y'all are like, oh, hell nah. If he left me, that's it, right? Or an ex is supposed to remain an ex. No, chill out. Calm down. No, that's not always the case. Situations will vary, and sometimes two people, right person, wrong time. There can be various things going on here. But the point is, yes, this may be an opportunity to improve in a way to that where when you two cross paths again, you'll be able to come back together and be stronger and better than ever. And there are tons of stories like that. I wish I had one right now. I don't have it at the top of my head, but I'm going to make a video at some point about right person, wrong time and really give these stories so that you understand this does happen. But getting back to the original point, talk to God. Find peace in God. Find clarity in God. Find direction in God. And this will help you to successfully navigate these situations and to end up in a better place, or more importantly, to end up where you truly belong. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. Letting go is freedom, and freedom is a key to your happiness. But I understand the struggle of getting over someone. I understand that you may have been trying for a long time right now to let this man go, to get